Hey guys, welcome to the JW Untold True channel. So we are going to talk about the 1975 year. I've heard a lot of things about the 1975, but actually never went through the whole evidence. I did hear about the 1975 when I was at JW. I was at JW for around 12 years. The only thing that I actually heard was that there were some people that thought that the world was coming to an end, that the Watchtower didn't really thought the 1975 as the end of the world, that the Watchtower never said anything on the publications, that it was just a thinking of some that it was just some Jehovah Witnesses thinking that the end will come, and it went out of proportion. So let's go through the whole thing. Let's go and have a look at what the quotes were, what some of the talks that they gave back in the 1968. So let's have a look at the evidence that we have before and after the 1975. Let's have a look how the Watchtower approached this year, or what actually happened. So before we go through all the magazines and all the quotes, we're gonna go and watch a little video, a short video of some former JWs, how they felt, and then how everything went through. And then after that, we're gonna go through the quotes and see what the evidence is for this year. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. Cheers. Let's roll the first video.
Really shocked me to my core was this, and every other Jehovah's Witness listening to this, is that we were so convinced that the leadership, the governing body, would never tell one lie. Mm-hmm. They would always speak the truth, yes, no matter what the truth was. Mm-hmm. That is a fabrication. It is a lie. They have lied to us. They have deceived us, and we have the documented evidence. And because we've spoken about it, we were silenced or threatened to be silenced. And that's what will happen to any Jehovah's Witness listening to this program. And he knows it in his heart. He knows it in his
body of the Watchtower Society holds and enjoys the power, then they must also bear the responsibility. The truth is, they don't. Nothing better illustrates this than their false prophecy concerning 1975.
Well, when the Society brought out the date 1975, I felt right away that this is going to be the date when the thing has to happen, because there was no other date beyond 1975 that anybody could point to. So I grabbed right a hold of it as it was a thing to do, and I put all my hopes in it.
By the mid-60s, the Watchtower Society had all but guaranteed that the world would come to an end in 1975. It was a prophecy that would bring in a flood of new members, and the organization prospered. But it would have other effects on the ordinary Jehovah's Witness.
We thought Armageddon was coming in 1975. So I did not have a career. I didn't go to college because the end was so close. There was no need. The new world would be here.
I was a senior in high school, and the circuit overseer, which is a traveling minister, advised me that it's best for you to quit school and go into full-time pioneer work, because the world is going to end in 1975.
And we felt so strongly about the imminent approach of 1975 and that this whole system was coming to an end, that we sold our home in Lower Michigan, moved north, built a Kingdom Hall, and there we intended to live out those few remaining years, having saved just enough money to go a few years beyond 1975. And so it was a great disappointment and distress when this event that the Watchtower had prophesied did not materialize.
I wanted to get married. I wanted to have children. And that prophecy of the Watchtower failed. I began to wonder, if they were wrong on this, how many others are they wrong on?
And once again, Watchtower fact was revealed as nothing more than contrived fantasy.
Jehovah's Witnesses tried to get an explanation, but were unsuccessful. Apparently, for the governing body, nothing is so invisible as an unpleasant truth. Today, they are quick to deny their prophecies for the end of the world.
We do not, nor have we attempted, to predict a day or a time for it.
So there was a lot to unpack on this little short video. So we can see that some of the Jehovah Witnesses, and there were lots of them, and that they were impacted. Some of them didn't have children. Some gave their career. Some of them lost or gave up their jobs. Some of them gave up their jobs for full-time pioneering services. And also, it's interesting how the response of this guy, the representative of the Watchtower, said he completely denied that the Watchtower actually published anything. So let's go and have a look at these publications that the Watchtower put out before the 1975. And let's have a look if they actually predicted or they actually try to convince the public and their own followers that the 1975 was the end of the world. Let's have a look and let's see the evidence. So in 1966, the Watchtower published this book called The Life Everlasting Freedom of the Sons of God. And this is the first, one of the first pieces of evidence that the Watchtower actually published something about the 1975 year. So let's have a look and let's go through some quotes of this book. And we're going to go to page 26 to 30. We're going to read the quote on page 29. So it says, the published timetable resulting from this independent study gives the date of man's creation as the 4026 BCE. According to this trustworthy Bible chronology, 6,000 years from man's creation will end in 1975, and the seventh period of the 1,000 years of human history will begin in the fall of 1975 CE. So this is the first reference of the 1975 date. Go back, you sons of men, for 1,000 years are in your eyes, but as yesterday when it is past, and as watched during the night. So in not many years within our own generation, listen to this, guys, listen to this. So in not many years within our own generation, we are reaching that Jehovah God could view as the seventh day of man's existence. So here they're giving pretty much a taste of what is to come. They're not saying the end is coming, but they are insinuating that within our own generation, we are reaching what Jehovah God could view as the seventh day of man's existence. So yeah, if you have a look at this chart, you can see all the dates, all the important dates for the Watchtower. And here at the end, we've got 1975, 6,000, what is to say, end of the 1,000 year day of man's existence in early autumn. And it gives another date after that, 2,975, the 7,000 end of the 1,000 year of man's existence in early autumn. So here they're given the insinuation that from 1975 to 1975 is the 1,000 years Jesus reign. So yeah, interesting, eh? All right. So this is the first line of evidence. We're gonna go to the second line. We're gonna go to the second publication that they published. So this is the second publication we're gonna look at, the Awake Special Issue. A special issue. So why does God permit wickedness? This is the October the 8th, 1966. So this is 9 years before the climax. All right, let's go to the what we're gonna read here. So we're gonna go to page 19 and 20, and let's read this. So does God's rest day parable the time man has been on earth since his creation? Apparently so. From the most reliable investigation of Bible chronology, harmonizing with many accepted dates of secular history, we find that Adam was created in the autumn of the year 2026 BCE. Sometime in that same year, Eve could well have been created. directly after which God's rest day commenced. In what year, then, would the first 6,000 years of man's existence and also the first 6,000 years of God's rest day come to an end? The year 1975. This is worthy of notice. Just listen to the way they unpack this information. The year 1975. This is worthy of notice, particularly in view of the fact that the last days began in 1914, and that the physical facts of our day in fulfillment of the prophecy mark this as the last generation of this wicked world. So we can expect, listen, we can expect the immediate future to be filled with thrilling events for those who rest their faith in God and His promises. What does all this mean? Let's have a look. It means that within relative few years, what was this? It means that within relative few years, we will witness the fulfillment of the remaining prophecies that have to do with the time of the end. So they are not saying the end is coming, but it said that relative few years we will witness the fulfillment of the remaining prophecies that have to do with the time of the end. So what is the fulfillment? It says in a few years, the fulfillment of the time of the end. They are not saying the end is coming, but they are saying the fulfillment of the end of the time of the end, which is the same thing. So this is the second line of evidence that they said about 1975. So it's pretty specific, pretty clear, but in a way they are not saying the end is coming, but they are saying that the fulfillment of the end of the time, or the time of the end is coming. Let's go to the third line of evidence. So we got the third publication here, the Watchtower 1966, October the 15th. What has God's kingdom been doing since 1914? And let's read the quotes here of about 1975. So we're going to go to page 628, 629, and 631. Let's read the first. It did not take the brothers very long to find the chart beginning on page 31, showing that 6,000 years of man's existence end in 1975. Discussion of 1975 overshadowed about everything else. The new book compels us to realize that Armageddon, listen to this bit, Armageddon is in fact, there's no doubt about this, is in fact very close indeed. How close? Well, just 9 years. All right, let's keep going. Said a conventioner, surely it was one of the outstanding blessings to be carried home. Year 1975. What is it going to mean? Dear friends, ask Brother Franks, does it mean that Armageddon is going to be finished with Satan bound by 1975? It could. It says there, it could. All things are possible with God. They are not denying it. They are not denying it, but they're saying it could be. Doesn't mean that Babylon the Great is going to go down by 1975. Guess what? It could. Doesn't mean that the attack of Gog of Magog is going to be made on Jehovah's Witnesses to wipe them out. Then Gog himself will be put out of action. It could as well. But we are not saying. But we are not saying. So they're not saying it's going to happen, but it could happen. All things are possible with God, but we are not saying. And don't any of you be specific in saying anything that is going to happen between now and 1975. But the big point of it all is this, dear friends. Time is short. Time is running out. No question about that. So they're not saying, but come on, the time is running out. But everything could happen. Everything. But we're not saying, I mean, you can say nothing's happened, but hurry up, it's going to happen. So it's like, Jesus Christ, man. All right, so this is the third publication that we looked at. So they didn't deny it, but they're not saying, but they are saying that it could happen, and that the time is running out. No question about it. So that when there's no question about it, in fact, it's happening. They are confirming it, but not saying it. So let's go to the fourth publication and see what the evidence is there now. So this is the fourth publication that we're going to look at. This is the Watchtower 1967 special edition again. Mankind's Millennium Under God's Kingdom. So this is the April 15th edition. Let's have a look at the quotes here. So this is on page 243, 244, and it reads, no matter how well you like what you are doing, no matter how satisfied you are with your situation, and no matter what your plans are, you will immediately leave all this and run to a place of safety if you are convinced that the danger of sudden death is staring you in the face. So hold on. Let's just stop there for a second. So here it says, no matter how well you like what you are doing, so jobs, what your life is looking like your house, your jobs, what your situation, no matter what your plans are, if you're going to have plans about retirement or holidays or buying a house or children, you will immediately leave all this and run to a place of safety. So here, if we remember the video that we watched at the beginning about the former Jehovah Witnesses giving up their jobs, giving up the selling their houses, not having children. So here we can see where they got the idea from. And then it says here, if you are convinced, of course they are convinced about this imminent date, that the danger of sudden death, what is the danger of sudden death, which is the Armageddon that is coming, is staring you in the face because it's just approaching. This is just 8 years before Armageddon was supposed to come. So let's read on. That is exactly the case with the warning that we speak of here. There are reasons why it can truly be said to be the most urgent warning ever given. First, it is from God. Here, listen to this. It is from God. It's not saying it's from the governing body. It's not saying that it's from the Watchtower. It's saying that it's from God himself, who has given reliable warnings in the past, who, as man's creator, has a genuine interest in the people's welfare. It is to come. So let's have a look at the last quote. It is to come within the generation that has already seen 2 world wars. Which generation are they talking about? The 1914 generation. And it is only a few short years ahead of us. What is a few short years ahead of us? 8 years specifically. It's ahead of us, the 1975 year. So it is to come within the generation. Here, they're making a statement that it is to come within the generation. Again, they're not saying that the end is coming, but they're saying that it is coming within a short few years. So the fifth piece of evidence that we are going to have a look, it's a district convention talk that was given back in 1967. This is just 8 years before 1975. And let's listen. Let's listen to the language that they used here to bring on the 1975 year, and it's quite eye-opening. Let's have a look. Let's have a listen, actually. So this is the Sheboygan District Overseer, Brother Charles Sinuku, presented the talk, Serving with Everlasting Life in View. He made this following statement, so let's listen to it.
So Jehovah's word is in your mouth. This good news must be preached first, before Armageddon. Will be now a remaining few months, not really a full 83 months remaining. So let's be faithful and confident, and we'll be alive beyond the war of Babylon. We will be alive beyond the war of Armageddon. Yes, brothers and sisters, by doing this, having plenty to do, we will be alive in God's new system of things, to live and to share in the work for 1,000 years. And there will be plenty to do for the next 1,000 years.
So this is quite eye-opening. Let's have a look and highlight a few of the things that he said here. So here he's saying that the good news must increase first before Armageddon. There will be now a remaining few months where you can just preach. But then he's saying that not really a full 83 months remains. So we gotta be faithful and confident. And the other statement that he made here is plenty to do for the next 1,000 years. So what is he talking about? Remember in the chart that we had a look at on the red book, where it says that from 1975 to 2975, there's 1,000 years, which is the seventh day of Jehovah's. There's 1,000 years there. So here he is highlighting that there will be plenty to do for the next 1,000 years from 1975, obviously. So far it's great to see all this literature so far about the 1975 date. So we looked at the books, we looked at the Watchtower, we looked at the Awake as well, and we also listened to the convention talk given by Charles Sinutku. So yeah, so far so good, or not really good for the Watchtower, but in part 2 we'll be looking for another 5 pieces of literature of evidence that they were pointing to 1975. So don't miss part 2. I think will be 4 parts of this series, and I hope you enjoy the first part of this 1975 fiasco. And yeah, stay tuned and let's wait for the second part.